Disclaimer, before I start this video, I just want to let y'all know my story is not your story. So if you are pregnant right now or planning to be pregnant, whatever, do not let this video scare you. This is just what happened to me. My story is not your story. What God had planned for my life doesn't mean he has that plan for your life. And yeah, don't get discouraged. Take this with a grain of salt. Either you could take it as an informational video, what could possibly happen during birth, because I wasn't informed, or like this was my story, but that doesn't mean it's your story. Or you could know what to pray against, because I didn't know to pray against this. So yeah, that's all. Let's jump into the video.
Where you come from, they don't make your kind no more. You're more like an auntie. You're all that I need. Sweeter than my Tennessee honey.
What it is, y'all? What's up? It's your girl Desi back here with another freaking video. If I'm talking funny, it's because my wisdom teeth is growing in and shifting on my teeth, and it really hurts, so it's causing me to talk funny. But I'm just here to come to y'all and tell y'all my birth story. A lot of y'all saw on Instagram and on Twitter where I tweeted and I said my birth was very traumatic, and I'll talk about it when I'm ready to talk about it. Am I ready to talk about it now? Probably not, but when I am ready to talk about it, I don't know when that'll be. So if I get a little emotional in this video and you see cuts, that's why. I'm not really the type to come on camera and really like cry and all that. So if I do start getting teary-eyed or whatever, I'm gonna stop the video and re-record. But I'm just here to share my birth story, because I do believe that many people go through this, and it's just, why am I about to get teary-eyed already? Destiny, get it together, because no, this is not okay. This is not okay. Okay, so let's just get right into it, because I don't have time to just keep talking about nonsense. So let me start from the very beginning. Those of y'all who do not know, I planned a unmedicated, out of hospital birth, okay? I knew that I wanted this before I ever got pregnant, and when I got pregnant, I knew exactly what I was gonna do. I knew exactly what was gonna happen and all this stuff, okay? I thought I knew, but I had an emergency C-section too. That's where I'm getting to. So it started with me having to go to the hospital. I had to go to the hospital because I was planning to have my baby at a birth center here in Houston, and my baby is crying, but her daddy's getting her. I planned to have my baby at a birth center in Houston, okay? My baby was not coming. She was 2 weeks late, and at 42 weeks, it's illegal to not have your baby, whatever. I don't know if that's a state of Texas thing, if that's an overall thing, whatever. But here in Texas, or period, it's just illegal to go past 42 weeks. So I was doing so much stuff to naturally induce. I was doing acupuncture, I was going to the chiropractor, I was doing stretches, I was doing curve walking, I was working out, I was having sex. I was doing everything everybody said that would make my baby come. She was not coming, like at all. And I'm talking, at 41 weeks, I was not dilated. At 41 weeks and 5 days, I became 1 centimeter. Okay, so she was like really not coming. But I just want to say this too. So I'm new to Houston. This is part of why it was traumatic for me. I'm new to Houston. I don't know about their hospitals. I don't know about any of that. I didn't look into any of that because I planned to have a out of hospital birth. Mind you, I've been planning, taking classes, everything for a natural birth and out of hospital birth. So this is all I know. I don't know anything about what I have to do if I have to go to the hospital, what's gonna happen. I don't know what that birth looks like, because I planned for a different type birth, okay? So at my birth center, they was like, we're gonna have to take you to the hospital and they're gonna have to induce you. Number one, disappointment because I didn't want to go to the hospital. I hate everything about hospitals. I live a very holistic life. I hate everything about hospitals, okay? Everything. I'm telling y'all, I hate everything. I don't believe in anything that go on in the hospital. It's a lot. I don't believe in it. I don't like it. So also, I didn't want to have a hospital birth because I know how Black women are treated in the hospital, especially when it comes to birth and how they think that we could just take any pain and all that. My eye look lazy because how I put my freaking lash on. That's making me mad. But so for one, they're saying we have to admit you to the hospital. So one of the midwives at the birth center is also a nurse. So she was coming with me to the hospital, right? She was still gonna be my midwife in the hospital, even though I had to go and have a hospital birth. Why I did not want a hospital birth is because they try to induce you so quick. The medicine, the Pitocin, drops baby's heart rates, causes many effects on the baby. They try to force you to have an epidural. They act like because you're in so much pain and you may be 5 centimeters, they like, it's no way you could take it to make it to whatever. So they ask you multiple times, do you want an epidural? Do you want an epidural? I don't want no freaking IV in my hand. I thought it was gonna be up here. It was in my hand. That junk was hurting me. Like, it was just, this is all reasons I did not want to go to the hospital. Every reason I did not want to go to the hospital is what happened to me. And I'm about to get into that in just a second. But y'all also have to know the hospital that I'm going to is an hour away from my house, and I know nothing about this hospital, okay? Nothing at all. No, I don't know anything about it because I was never planning a hospital birth. And I'm new to Houston. I don't know about their hospitals anyway. I know that one of the top hospitals here, something happened while I was pregnant. Something happened to a baby in the NICU, and the baby was perfectly healthy and fine before they went to the NICU. They went to the NICU, and now the baby is like about to die. So I know this stuff, but another reason I don't believe in hospitals. So at least if I was in a city where I know I would go to a hospital where I know something about. I know nothing about this hospital, and I have to go to the hospital that's close to my birth center, which is an hour away from my house, and it's not a big hospital here in Houston. Scary, okay? So I don't know if they got good nurses, good doctors, good anything, but I'm still going to the hospital thinking, okay, I'm just gonna be induced and I can still have a natural birth. That's what I'm thinking in my mind, okay? So boom, get to the hospital, and I get to the hospital, okay? And I'm about to get emotional. I get to the hospital and they give me this first medicine that's supposed to make me contract. It's called something with a C. It wasn't Pitocin though. Everybody know Pitocin wasn't Pitocin. So they gave me this medicine. It was something you take orally. I take the medicine. I start having contractions. My baby heart rate dropped instantly. Drops to like a 90 something, and it's supposed to be at 120 or above 120. So her heart rate drops to 90. The nurses come in panicking. Oh my God, you're gonna have to have an emergency C-section. I'm gonna call the doctor here, da da da. This is why I hate hospitals. Because one thing happened doesn't mean you have to jump to a C-section. Like, calm down, relax, like be quiet, like, and they come in there in a frenzy. And I'm not mad at the nurses because this is what they're taught, but like, there's so many different ways you can go about this. And like, because one medicine we tried didn't work, you just want to jump to, you gotta go have a C-section. She pissed me off. What also pissed me off is she tries to give me an IV as soon as I get in there. She sticks me twice, can't do it, so gotta call somebody else, and they stick me a third time. That pissed me off. Anyways, keep going. So they gave me a shot, more medicine. Told you I hate medicine. They give me a shot to stop the medicine that I just took. Okay, cool. Stopped it, the contractions stopped. Then they tried, and I don't know if y'all had a pelvic exam while you've been pregnant, but that shit hurts. So I've already had 2 exams since I've been in the hospital within an hour. So I'm like, okay. So then they come and they try to put this balloon thing in me. My midwife is trying to put it in, but I'm only 1 centimeter. They usually do it when you're 2 centimeters is what they said. She couldn't get the balloon thing in. I'm like, oh my God, it was hurting. So now they have to call a second lady in here to come try to put the balloon in. So she comes, the doctor, she comes, she puts the balloon in. Okay, y'all, the contractions I felt from this balloon. So the balloon took me from 1 centimeter to 4.5 centimeters within like a couple hours. Quick though, quick, okay? So I'm like, this shit. The contractions that I felt when I had this balloon in, it was the worst contractions I felt the whole time. The worst, okay? The worst. So this, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm like having contractions like I'm about to have my baby. Like, and I'm only 4 centimeters. Those of y'all don't know, you don't have your baby until 10 centimeters. So I'm like, yo, this shit hurt. Like, y'all need to come on, like this thing needs to fall out. But I'm like, this, I'm not on no medicine, I'm not on nothing. So I'm like, I'd rather do this, I'd rather go this route. I really think we should have did that first before we even tried the other medicine, but whatever. So this is fine. My baby's doing good with the contractions. Her heart rate is not dropping. She's good. So the balloon falls out in 4.5 centimeters. Whew, I'm relieved because that was hurting. So I'm still having contractions, whatever. It's still going on. Okay, everything was going smooth. I still have not had no medicine, even though at this time they've asked me, am I getting an epidural at least 4 times? And I keep telling them, no, I don't want an epidural. So contractions are getting worse. At this point, I've been in labor for 15 hours. And my midwife came in and she was like, Des, it's really hard to have a natural birth in this setting. She was not lying. Like, at home, you can get in the tub, you can, or like even at the birth center, you can get in the tub, you can do all these things to relieve you. At that hospital, you have an IV in your arm and you have the thing monitoring baby on you. So you have all these cords on you. So I'm trying to go on walks around the room. The room is little though. And you know, at the birth center, you could walk through the whole center. You know, like it's just, you got diffusers, you got everything to help you cope with this pain. The hospital, you have nothing. You got IVs and all this making the pain worse, okay? Because that's exactly what it's doing. But let me say this too. I was so worn out when they put the balloon in. It wore me out, okay? It was in for a couple hours and it wore me out, like real bad. Like imagine having the worst contractions ever, like being like 9 centimeters, because I got to 7 centimeters and it still didn't feel like that. So I'm assuming like if I got to 9 centimeters, that's what it felt like. So imagine being at 9 centimeters for hours and you just feeling these strong, intense contractions. It wore me out, and that was at the beginning of my labor, the very beginning. So I was tired, I was worn out. But anyways, I'm still going on. At this point, I've been in labor for 15 hours, and my midwife came in. She was like, Dad, it's really hard to have a natural birth in this setting. Understood, because I was doing everything. I was working out still, I was squatting, everything. But like, it was just a lot. I had to pull the IV machine with me. I had to pull the other machine with me that was monitoring baby. So Josiah is pulling it. I'm going through this. I need the fan. He can't really fan me because he has all this stuff in his hands. I have this comb thing, all these stuff I got to help with your pain during labor that I could not use. So I'm like, okay, but my midwife is like, Des, it's really hard, but baby is still not pressing down on your cervix. Even though I'm 6.5 centimeters at this time, baby's still not pressing down on your cervix. So baby is not gonna come down until you relax. This is what she's telling me. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, it's no way I can relax though. So they give me this medicine that's supposed to make me fall asleep. It's supposed to help me sleep. It wasn't an epidural. It was something that was supposed to help me fall asleep. So I'm like, okay. They like, get in the bed because it's gonna make you fall asleep. So I get in the bed. The contractions get worse once I lay down. I've been walking around squatting, everything. The contractions get worse once I lay down. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I can't. I did not fall asleep. The medicine did nothing. Waste of medicine. So then I'm like, what can I do for my baby? Like, what can I do? Because if y'all don't know, having a baby is stressful for you, but it's very stressful for the baby too. So I'm like, I don't want to keep on my baby through this. So what can I do for my baby to relieve the stress and just help her to come down, you know, because they were saying, oh, she's stressed out. This is making me so mad. Oh, she's stressed out, that's why she's not coming down. So I'm like, okay, what can I do for my baby? So I'm like, okay, you can give me the epidural. I'll take an epidural, whatever. So they came in to give me the epidural. I said, I changed my mind. I don't want an epidural. I changed my mind. So I told the people leave. No, I don't want it. I changed my mind. So then time go on. I'm not relaxing. It's not getting any better. So I'm like, okay. Oh, during this time, when I was 4 centimeters, at this point I'm 6, but when I was 4, my water broke. I thought my water broke. I still don't know if my water broke or not. The nurse said it was my water that broke. My midwife came and did the exam after. She said that it was still bulgy and it still felt like my water had not broken. And that was at 4.5 centimeters. At this time it was 5.5 when she said that. I feel like my water still didn't break. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So we go and I'm squatting, whatever, and the pain is not going anywhere. It's getting worse, of course. That's part of labor. It's getting worse. I'm like, okay, I'm stuck in this room. These people keep coming in, pissing me off. Let me just get the epidural so that I can relax. So I told the people, after I told them no, go away, I don't want the epidural, I called the nurse back in there and I said, just give me the epidural if it'll help me relax. I asked my midwife, do you think it'll help me relax? She said definitely. Okay, give me the epidural, whatever, I'll deal with the consequences of what this epidural is gonna do to me later. Fine. So she comes in, they give me the epidural. I have the epidural for about 30 minutes, right? And now I'm on Pitocin. They're giving me Pitocin. After they gave me the ball, they're giving me Pitocin. So they keep upping the dose of Pitocin. So why they kept upping the dose, I don't know. Because you don't have to keep upping the dose. But usually what they give patients in the hospital is 20 whatever. The amount is 20 of Pitocin. I was going up every hour. So at this hour, I am 6. I'm at a level 6 of Pitocin, of the level of Pitocin that I'm getting. So when I'm at level 6 is when I get the epidural. After I got the epidural, when you get an epidural, you got to get a catheter, which is crazy. I guess it's not crazy though, because you can't go to the bathroom because you can't feel nothing. Okay, understood. And you got to be in the bed. When I tell y'all, the epidural didn't even work for real, because I could still feel stuff. You know what I'm saying? I could still feel stuff. But anyways, so I'm like, why do I feel contractions and I got an epidural? Wasted. But anyways, but they wasn't as bad. I'm not gonna lie, they wasn't as bad, and I could fall asleep. So I went to sleep, and so because I went to sleep, just like it goes to sleep, right? I'm about to get emotional. Don't do it, Dez, don't do it. So I get the epidural and I fall asleep. I'm woken up to nurses just running in the room. The nurse that I had, she kept trying to turn me over. And I thought it was because she was trying to get the monitor on my baby. But really she was trying to turn me over to get baby moving, because baby's heart rate dropped to a 60. When it's supposed to be at 120. So my baby's heart rate dropped to a 60 for 7 minutes. So I'm panicking. I'm not panicking though. I'm panicking in my mind, but my body shows that I'm calm. So we wake up to all the nurses. My nurse opens the door and goes, I need help in here. That's all she says. And all the nurses come running. It's about 7, 8 nurses in the room. They come running in. And they're like, what's wrong? So they look at baby's heart rate and they just are panicking. They're all panicking. Every single one of them are panicking. They give me an oxygen mask. The lady's like, I need you to breathe for you and baby. Josiah said that they was trying to like somehow do CPR to my baby through my stomach or something they did. I don't know. They kept putting their hand up me and stuff like that. It was painful, but I couldn't think about that. I'm thinking this whole birth was fight or flight the entire time. So my baby's heart rate is at a 60 for 7 minutes. I'm on all fours, hands and knees, and this lady is guiding me on how to breathe for me and my baby. Traumatic, okay? Traumatic. My baby, like, so they're trying to get her heart rate up, They get her heart rate up. After they get her heart rate up, they're like, okay. Oh, and they give me a shot to stop the Pitocin. So what it was I had a long, this is what they say it was. I had a long contraction and baby couldn't breathe through that long contraction. It was too long. So that's what dropped her heart rate, and it wasn't coming back up. I think it's the Pitocin that dropped her heart rate. The medicine side effects was dropping her heart rate, because it don't make sense. She's had strong contractions when I had the balloon in and she was fine. So why? Anyways, I got a lot of questions, but they're never gonna get answered, so I gotta let it go. But anyways, so her heart rate drops to 60, and at this point I'm like, they don't want to mention C-section to me because I got so mad with the first girl, like, don't come in here doing all that. So they didn't want to mention C-section to me, but I'm like, so this is what they're telling me, this is what we'll do. So they gave me a shot to stop the Pitocin. They're like, yeah, so we stopped the Pitocin, so what we can do is put you back on the Pitocin and see what happens then. What do you mean what happens? If my baby heart rate couldn't sustain this contraction, how is she gonna make it through me pushing and all that? Because it's 10 times worse. How is she gonna make it? And then, like, y'all couldn't get her heart rate up this time. Y'all barely could get it up. It took forever for y'all to get it up. Who's to say y'all can get it up next time? And then my baby's going through all this stress, and like, babies come out with so many problems when their heart rate dropped that low and all this stuff. So my baby's heart rate, I'm like, no, I'm not putting her through this no more. Just give me the C-section. Just give me the C-section, because I don't want to put her through this. I don't. I'd rather me have to suffer and go through a longer recovery and have this cut and do all this stuff than for her to have to go through anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, just give me the C-section, whatever. Give me the C-section. They said, okay. So the C-section was the emergency C-section, but it wasn't an emergency C-section, if you understand what I'm saying. So yeah. So then after that, I fall asleep. I'm knocked out because I get an infection. I get an infection, and I know that the infection is because my midwife broke my water, which is not her fault, but she broke it because I was 6.5 centimeters and it still hadn't broke, and it usually breaks at 3 centimeters. So she breaks my water. But not only that, I told y'all at the beginning about getting the exams. By this time I've got hiccups. By this time I've got maybe 20 exams, because they keep on checking, and it's been however many hours. By the time I got the C-section, it was 24 hours I had been in labor. 24 hours I had been in labor. So I'm like, and I'm not talking labor like, yeah, it started, I had like contractions. It's been 24 hours of fight or flight. It's been 24 hours of strong, heavy contractions, because I told y'all when I had the ball in, it drained me. So it's been very long, very exhausting. And I'm just like, bro. So I call my mom. When I tell my mom about her heart rate drop, my mom is on the way instantly. But I told y'all it's an hour away from my house. So it took her some time to get there. She gets there, and now I have an infection. So the infection also got to my baby. So my baby has the infection. So my fever is really, really high. So all I'm doing is sleeping. I'm like just passed out, knocked out. And I look over at Josiah, and he's just so stressed. It was also hard because it was so hard for him. He was like, we were both trying to be calm because getting stressed out would do nothing. But when they said I had an infection, I was about to go for the C-section, I really seen it on his face. Like, he just, you know, like, I've never in my life seen my husband like that. So that was really sad. to see him like that. It was really hard for him too. Because you gotta think, like, his wife and his baby is like going through a lot. And you know, when I said I'll get the C-section, I mentioned to y'all, I don't know this hospital, I don't know these doctors, I don't know if they have good surgeons, I don't know anything about this place, and it's so many risks with surgeries, you know. So they can make a mistake and anything could happen. They could puncture my bladder, they could do so many things, you know what I'm saying? And we don't know anything about this, but we're just praying and we're gonna trust God that everything's gonna go good, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we did. And after I got the infection, my baby got the infection, I wanted to encapsulate my placenta to replenish me of all my stuff. Couldn't even do that because the placenta got infected with the infection. So then finally, I'm almost done, y'all. Then finally I go to have the C-section. Why could I feel everything? I'm talking, I felt them pull baby out. I felt them pull the placenta out. I didn't feel them cutting me open, but I just felt a whole lot of pressure when they was cutting me. And the anesthesiologist was talking me through it, and he was like, you know, C-sections aren't that bad. It's just bad when you've been in labor all these hours, then you have to have a C-section. And then he was saying, so when I'm like, I'm having the C-section and I'm like, ow, ow, ow. I'm telling them, this is hurting me, ow, ow, ow. And then he's like, it's okay, you just feel pressure. Don't tell me I just feel pressure. This hurts. Tell me what I feel, nigga, what? So I felt everything. When I tell y'all, painful, okay? So whatever, I have the C-section. He tells Josiah, this part is tender, so I'm just gonna put her to sleep real quick. I'll sleep for like 3 minutes or something, Josiah said. I don't remember the man saying that because I just went to sleep. But anyway, so after that, my baby had to go to the NICU because I had a C-section, so they had to watch her for an hour, make sure everything was okay. My midwife came in and she was like, Destiny, I just can't believe baby is like perfect and healthy, because when babies go through all that during labor, it's usually many things wrong with them, because she had a high fever, her heart rate dropped so low, it's just a lot of stuff. So they were shocked that nothing was wrong with my baby, but I was praying, and all I can say is it was very traumatic, but my baby was healthy. I was perfectly fine. I've been healing fine. I've been okay for the most part. Mentally, I have been okay, but I haven't been okay, if that makes sense. But I'll be fine, you know, as long as my baby is healthy and I'm healthy, we're fine. But that's why my birth was very, very traumatic for me, and I wanted to share this because I know many people that have to go to the hospital, have to have emergency C-sections and all this stuff. And yeah, so I had to have an emergency C-section, and it was pretty traumatic. It's pretty traumatic for me. And why it was so traumatic for me is because how I planned my birth the entire time. And also at the birth center, they never mentioned if you have to go to the hospital, this happened. I had no clue on my recovery. I bought so much stuff for recovery for a vaginal birth that I just didn't use. I don't need, because I had to have a C-section. I felt like I was going home not knowing anything. Also, I didn't want to have a hospital birth because I didn't want to stay in the hospital for so long after. We had to stay in for 48 hours. That was very annoying. I was so irritated. I was so frustrated by the time it was almost time for us to go home. It was just pissing me off. And they gave me pain medicine for my C-section. No, I did not take it because I'm done with medication. All I took was some ibuprofen. And yeah, so that was my birth story. It wasn't the beautiful birth that I thought it was gonna be, but my baby is here and she's beautiful, and God's plan. If this was God's plan for me, then it just is what it is. I know God makes no mistakes, and I know that it was nobody but God why my baby is here today, why my baby has nothing wrong with her. I know that it's nobody but God. It's a true miracle, and that's that's just really all I got to say. The C-section went great, so I was worried about the C-section and how it was gonna go, but God had me through it. He's been covering me through the recovery process. I've been good. I've been walking fine. I can do everything right now. Like, I feel perfectly fine. Sometimes my cut hurts a little, but that's all, and that's really good to say. I'm not taking no medicine, no nothing. And I just had a major surgery, but yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. I just gotta go through a recovery process. Also, I just want to make sure my husband's okay, because it was a lot for him, and it still is a lot for him. You know, every once in a while I have like a mental breakdown. Not even a mental breakdown, I'll just like get emotional, start crying or whatever, and just going through postpartum. So the fact that my family is good, my family is healthy, praise God. And that's just all. Like, sometimes we go through traumatic things, but sometimes that's just our story. That's just what we had to go through. So I hope I could help somebody who also had maybe a traumatic situation during birth and never spoke about it, or just never got to talk to anybody about it, or whatever. You guys are not alone. Birth can be a beautiful thing. Well, birth is a beautiful thing, but it also can be traumatic. So yeah, it's just everything I did not want to happen. Every reason I didn't want to go to the hospital is what happened to me. So that's why it was so traumatic for me. I think if I was already planning a hospital birth and these things happened, maybe it wouldn't have been as bad. But yeah, and I also want to tell y'all, just because you have one C-section don't mean you gotta have a C-section every time for the next babies. That is a myth. You can have a vaginal birth after having a C-section. And yeah, so that's my story. That's what happened. I'm really proud of myself because I didn't get emotional while I was talking about it. And maybe I get emotional because I don't speak on it. I don't talk about it. I don't know. But this video was good for me. Hopefully it was good for somebody that's watching. And yeah, also, if you're about to, well, I'll clip this and put it in the beginning, but like I said in the beginning of the video, y'all see now, if you about to have a baby, don't let this discourage you. Actually, I don't even want you to watch it, because my story is not your story. Period, point blank. My story is not your story. So what God hadn't planned for me doesn't mean that plan for you. That doesn't mean that that's his plan for you. So go into it with a positive mindset, excited. It's a beautiful thing. Being a mom is so rewarding. It's the best feeling ever. I just now seen that my lip gloss is making my mouth like white. But I also want to say, when my baby came out and I heard her crying while I got the C-section, it was also traumatic because I couldn't even be excited. Like, I planned for skin to skin and all this stuff and breastfed instantly. And sometimes God plan is not our plan. But that's all for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be back with another freaking video soon. I'm back with the videos. Like, I miss recording. I miss everything about this. I know I didn't do it while I was pregnant, but this pregnancy was just hard for me, okay? It was a lot. I went through prepartum and it was just a lot, but it's over. My baby is here and we happy. So that's all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Give me some encouraging words in the description. Also, tell me your stories. If you guys have babies, I'm curious to know. I want to talk about it. And yeah, that's all for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Why would you even watching, girl, not subscribe? I wouldn't do you like that, so don't do me like that. Period, pool, no more, none less. And I'm out.
Where you come from, they don't make your kind no more. You're more like an auntie. You're all that I need. Sweeter than my Tennessee honey.